Hello, and welcome to An Alien Perspective. I am your host, Vulcan the Irregular. This is the show where we always punch up, never punch down, cracking the social consensus, and offering eccentric social criticism for strange times. Today we're going to talk about the throwback of flying first class, a throwback to the age of the Titanic, when the Astors and the nobles jetted across the sea in first class and everyone else perished below in steerage. This is a reality still today when you fly an airplane. Even in your little, Iowa to Missouri flight, you're flying from Des Moines to Branson or some nonsense like that, there will be a first class of persons sitting ahead of you who are entitled to all sorts of bizarre privileges. I mean, I've seen, they'll be given little towels, they'll have a curtain that is put up. That's the most hilarious one to me. I mean, even you're flying on first class, I've been moved up there if the flight was empty enough. It's still not exactly a comfortable experience, but it's supposed to be this luxury experience, I guess, where you're given towels and there's like a curtain, and you're supposed to pay like a couple $100 more for this. Um, because you're just supposed to not see the people who are behind your head when the curtain goes up. I mean, you're certainly still going to hear them. You're still on a plane. You still can't move your legs without encountering massive restriction and discomfort on all sides. But hey, you're in first class. You are a step above. Um, you could just get rid of the first class and put more room for everybody on the plane, take the space you would save from that, divide it among all the other chairs, seats in the plane, and give everyone an extra couple more inches, and that would probably be indistinguishable. I think it just says something about the airline industry, really, um, that this sort of weird golden age of flight from like the 1950s, where you would get on and there would be this sort of real romance to flying, and all of the pilots and the flight attendants would be sort of dressed to the nines. I mean, you still sort of see this thing, and uh, it would be a sort of classy experience that you want to be in first class. I think nobody believes that about flying anymore. It's kind of weird that that is still foisted on us. I've seen recently that some airlines are talking about the seats. People are getting bigger. People can't fit in the seats. What are they going to do? Do you give people extra seats? I mean, I think nobody is comfortable on these planes. And then you walk, if you're not sitting in first class, you walk past it, and people are marginally more comfortable there. But why does this whole thing have to exist? And while I'm on the topic, um, this is also sort of associated with first class. Totally bizarre to me, the whole beverage service and food service you get on planes. It is, again, trying to create this aura of luxury, and the people in first class get their Diet Coke before the people in steerage. I know I'm probably not using the right terms, business class, whatever you want to call it, but in my mind, it's first class in steerage, right? Like, it would be actually kind of cool if there was legitimate steerage on planes, like there was the Titanic. Like you could just hang out in the cargo bin or something. Maybe that would be an improvement over actually sitting on the plane. But the people, they bring the beverage cart out, and it's just a ridiculous process. Why do you have to pour these drinks and block the aisle and go through some sort of heavily gendered social ritual of, oh, thank you, ma'am, the flight attendant gave me my drink. It's just like something straight out of the 1950s, and it's really, really weird. Um, if you want to hand out drinks, just do what every theme park everywhere does and just give people a can or a bottle. Do you have to pour the drink? You could give them a cup and have them pour it themselves. Um, could we maybe just abandon the whole drink cart concept and use that space where the drink cart sits to give everyone a little more room? The whole thing is completely ridiculous. Um, it's like this, the uniforms, and I mean, you could say it's kind of similar to just the whole idea of having a waitress at a restaurant, I guess, a waiter or a waitress. Um, but this is more ridiculous because it's not even like they can comfortably navigate the aisle, right? They have to go ahead and slip through the aisle with this massive cart. And of course, most airlines don't offer food anymore, so it's not like you can actually snack on the plane. Or if you do, you have to like pay with a credit card. That's a real good one, right? Like, there's no system where you could just debit the people's account that are already on the plane. The airline has their credit card. You have to like take it out on the plane and then they have to run it. The whole thing is incredibly awkward and um, I think speaks to a sort of stagnation in the concept of air travel in society more generally, right? I mean, anybody who is designing this from a 21st century perspective would completely get rid of all this stuff. Um, but you feel like you're in some sort of old world mansion with the maid lugging this heavy cart around, like running over small children that are playing in the aisle, so you can get your glass of water that's poured out for you. Like the whole thing is just completely absurd. Um, yeah, that's first class flight. I mean, things used to be a bit more chill, I guess, when you flew. Things used to be a little bit more laid back. I remember the pilots used to come out and talk to you. That would be sort of the pilots always used to make jokes more over the intercom. That would be a bit more of a humanizing experience. Um, but I think if you could poll the vast majority of people and ask them, would you rather have in-flight beverage service or would you rather give everyone 2 inches more room? That would be a pretty obvious thing. And not even that you'd have to cancel all liquids on the plane, you would just not have their drinks poured out for them in the aisle. I mean, I don't think many people are exactly on the plane for that purpose. Sometimes you even take like a 2 hour flight. It's just some little hop, skip, and a jump between two little towns, and they're like rushing to bring this beverage out so they can put the thing away before they land. It's like a compulsion. It's like, we have to do this thing. I guess these companies don't sit back and reflect on their practices and think if it's something they really need, or maybe the consumers really like it. I don't know. Maybe this is just a wayward opinion. Maybe older people expect that this is supposed to be part of what happens on a flight. I mean, the curtains, right? Like, I always just find it hilarious, if you're sitting somewhere behind first class and the curtains get drawn and like, it's a plane, it's loud, you know, uh, are you going to have some sort of private moment back there that you don't want the people outside of first class to see? Like, what could possibly be the benefit of this? You get a towel, right? Um, I don't know. I guess people like their hierarchies, and I guess even in these really sort of strange circumstances of being on a flight, if you can feel like you're better off than somebody else, uh, I guess that's a thing. Um, but I don't know. I thought this would have won out with the Titanic. Anyway, that is my alien perspective. I am your host, Vulcan the Irregular. This is the show where we always punch up, never punch down, cracking the social consensus and offering eccentric social criticism for strange times. Thank you for listening.